Wednesday, September 7. The true worshipers. Consider now John 4, verse 23. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him. After pointing the Samaritan away from the specific places of worship and then telling her of the superiority of the Jewish faith over hers, Jesus then tells the woman about the true worshipers. In verse 21, Jesus said that the hour is coming when people will not worship either in that mountain or in Jerusalem. In verse 23, he says that the hour now is that all true worshipers will worship in spirit and in truth. In other words, do not look to some past glory. Do not look to some future event. Rather, the time is now. Jesus said that all true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. What do these two elements represent, and how are we to apply this to our worship experience today? Consider now Mark 7, verses 6 through 9. He answered and said to them, Well did Isaiah prophesy of you hypocrites, as it is written, This people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. And in vain they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandment of God, you hold the tradition of men, the washing of pitchers and cups, and many other such things you do. He said to them, All too well you reject the commandment of God, that you may keep your tradition. Jesus here is calling for a balanced form of worship, a worship that comes from the heart, that is sincere and deeply felt. At the same time, God calls upon His true worshipers to worship Him in truth. God has revealed His will, His truth. True worshipers will love God, and from that love seek to serve Him, obey Him. Correct beliefs do not save, but they will give us an understanding of the character of God, and that should make us love and serve Him all the more. Is your worship more spirit than truth, or more truth than spirit? How can you learn to incorporate and balance both these aspects of worship? Tuesday, September 6. Worshipping what you know not. As we have seen numerous times, even with all the intricate and deep forms of worship that the Lord had instituted for Israel, it was not the forms alone that the Lord cared about. The forms and traditions and liturgy were all means to an end, and that end was a person surrendered in body and mind to his or her Creator and Redeemer. It is much easier, however, to make one's religion a series of formulas, traditions, and outward acts than it is to daily die to self and surrender in humility and faith to the Lord. This surely goes a long way in explaining why the Bible deals so much with those whose hearts are not with God, regardless of how correct their forms of worship are. Now consider excerpts from John 4, verses 1 through 24. What important point about worship was Jesus making to the Samaritan woman? Why was He pointing her away from specific places of worship? Here's the text. When the Lord knew that the Pharisees had heard that Jesus made and baptized more disciples than John, though Jesus Himself did not baptize but His disciples, He left Judea and departed again to Galilee. But He needed to go through Samaria, so He came to a city called Sychar. Now Jacob's well was there. Jesus, therefore, being wearied from His journey, sat thus by the well. A woman of Samaria came to draw water. Jesus said to her, Give me a drink. For His disciples had gone away into the city to buy food. Then the woman of Samaria said to Him, How is it that you, being a Jew, ask a drink from me, a Samaritan woman? For Jews have no dealings with Samaritans. Jesus answered and said to her, If you knew the gift of God and who it is who says to you, Give me a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." The woman said to him, "Sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where then do you get that living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself?" Jesus